Okay, welcome back to part 3 of this short video seminar. Let's talk about shoes, because basically everybody's wearing shoes around here in the urban area. There are just few people walking around barefoot, and most of the times they are looked upon very strangely, like in the US, like the barefoot sensei Mick Dodge, big shout outs, very nice guy, or Ken Bob Saxon, who's running barefoot, or other barefoot guys. If you go to a restaurant like that, perhaps they will kick you out and say, you don't have shoes, you can't come in. So running barefoot or walking barefoot is not very common, so you wear shoes, but there are some things you have to consider when wearing shoes. And the first thing is you need to have toe freedom. Toe freedom means your big toe, if you look at the left picture, that's actually like my foot and one of my shoes. It's my torture shoe, I always call it, and this is the shoe my wife forces me into when we have to go to some weddings or something, and I'm sometimes forced to wear these shoes. I actually don't wear shoes like this for more than 10 years now, but sometimes I have to, and they're very, very uncomfortable for me. But just look at this shoe. I mean, this is a shoe, and it was like about 300 to 300 euros or something, so it's not a cheap shoe. And there was a lady, and she was like a sophisticated shoe saleswoman, and she sold me this shoe, and this is my size. But if you take a look at the picture, how the hell should this foot fit into this shoe? It can only work if you put your big toe to the middle, just like those pictures from bare shoes in the middle. If you look at the left foot, then you can see what this shoe does to your big toe. And this is actually a very bad thing, because it's causing a symptom. It's called hallux valgus, which causes the joint of the big toe to move out more and more, and then it's like causing pain, and it's very, it doesn't look very good, and a lot of old people have it, and you can avoid it by just wearing shoes with toe freedom. But there's another thing that really causes a lot of trouble by just don't having enough toe freedom, and it's what my friends from Transcendent Bodywork will show you in this short video, and that I'm using in this presentation. And because they did a very awful job, not awful, awesome. It's awful to say it, but it's a very, very awesome job they did. They have a model, and they put 2 very major muscles into the model, and explaining why it's very important to have toe freedom. And we're talking about the flexor hallucis longus and adductor hallucis, and those both muscles are actually very important for raising the arch of your foot. And since you're English, or at least English-speaking people, I don't have to explain the video to you as I usually have to. I can just show it to you, because the guys from Transcendent Bodywork really explained it very well. So let's take a look into the video, and you will see why you need to have toe freedom for your shoes.
Muscles, and I put these little duct tape things on here. I attached the muscles where they're supposed to go, so that when I pull this toe with tension, and you can see both the flexor hallucis driving the first phalange into the support surface, and the abductor hallucis keeping the bones articulated along the edge of the arch, it provides good structure. And I can push down on the arch, and you see these bones staying articulated. Most athletic footwear on the market today from our major manufacturers include features such as heel elevation, which brings the heel above the metatarsal heads. That shortens these extensor muscles, starts to lengthen the flexor muscles on the bottom. They then include a little bit of upturn of the toes in the front called toe spring. You can see that that is further shortening these extensor muscles, further lengthening the flexor muscles on the bottom. Then they put you into toe taper. They squeeze the toes together, and you can see how that lengthens abductor hallucis and puts the toe into an alignment where its ray is not directing force into the first metatarsal, it's directing it off that way. Now, if I hold the toe in that position, a little pressure on the top of the ankle, now watch what happens. Oh, you might have just seen the decoupling of the arch, the pronation, the spilling. Now, if I pull that toe back into proper alignment, and again, if I pull those together, you see this first ray get snugged up and supported. It lifts the arch with supination.
So you can see that it's really important to wear the right shoes, and especially when you're talking about your toe freedom. But there are other things that are very important for shoes, and one of those is so-called zero heel. If you have an elevated heel, then you're basically doing the same thing as the tower in Pisa is doing. You are not straight, you're not aligned with the gravity, but you're almost falling over, and because you don't want to fall over, you need a lot of strength in your muscles and a lot of tension in your muscles to keep you sort of upright. Okay, but there's no point in doing it, because you came to this earth with like your heel and your ball on your foot on the same level. So why elevating the heel? There's no point in it. So you should look for shoes that are very, very zero level and have a zero heel, and the ball of the foot should be at the same height as the heel. You can see one of those shoes. I did a shoe test video and I cut my shoe in half. This is one shoe from a German manufacturer. They are called Joe Nimble, and you can see that the front of the shoe has the exact same thickness as the heel. So that's the way it should be. Don't use elevated heels or cushioned heels or something. You don't need that. Your foot does the shock absorbing for you. You don't need your shoe doing that. Next point would be a thin and light sole. If you take a look at those both shoes, they are a very good example of what not to use. If you take the left one, which is like a mountain hiking boot, then you can see that in this shoe, your foot doesn't move at all. And if your ankle doesn't move, and this is a joint that's supposed to move, then all the tissue surrounding it, the muscles and the myofascial tissue and the connective tissue, becomes more stiff, and this leads to a less good, let's say, circulation of certain fluids. So that's one thing, and you can see it with elderly people who have like very swollen feet. And it also leads to the fact that this tissue becomes stiff, and then if you move your ankle because you go barefoot or you don't have those shoes on, and then you like slip or something, then you will automatically damage this tissue, because as you have seen in the back part, because it's not elastic anymore in any way, it will get damaged by moving.